Fellow landlords, you are going to love this video. You're going to love it so much that we believe that you're going to smash the like button. And it could very well be the most liked video that we at the Landlord Advocates have produced to date. This video is analyzing the 4 petitioners, individual petitioners, who filed a lawsuit against the New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance on December 13, 2021, through the Legal Aid Society, to open up the ERAP program again. If they prevail in this lawsuit, you could very well see your tenants remain on the property without paying rent for another year to 2 years. We ask that you watch the video that was produced right before the one you're looking at now. That will give you the meat and potatoes of what the lawsuit is about. In that video, we shared that we were going to tell you in an upcoming video, which is this one right now, of who the 4 individual petitioners are in this case, so that you'll know what the narrative is all about. There's also 2 entities as well. The 2 entities are the Housing Court Answers, that's located on Broad Street in New York, New York. And the other one is the Coalition for the Homeless, which is located on Fulton Street in New York, New York. Now, the 4 individual plaintiffs in the lawsuit, it is known as the individual plaintiff facts. As the Legal Aid Society would have everyone read and feel bad for it and cry over the demise of these tenants that are listed here and what's going on with them and how terrible it is. And oh my God, we gotta feel so bad for them. We gotta stop these evictions. They can't be going on. We gotta stop them. Well, no. We at the Landlord Advocates are putting the landlord's perspective on these individual narratives. And it worries me that the Legal Aid Society would have you believe is so bad what's happening to these 4. Let us begin with the first one. Maria Hanzono. She lives on Townsend Avenue in Bronx, New York. She's lived there since 2009. She lives in what's called a preferential rent stabilized rent of $1,856 a month. She also receives a Section 8 subsidy. In the spring of 2020, she lost her job. She lost another job that she had as well. She received unemployment insurance from July of 2020 to August of 2021. She had trouble paying her rent during that time, according to this narrative that's right in the lawsuit. We're not sharing anything out there that is not public knowledge. In the lawsuit, it claims that she had difficulty paying her rent because her adult daughter moved in, and she had to help her adult daughter pay her student loan bills, and she also had to send money to her father in the Dominican Republic for his medications and medical care. Okay, how is that the landlord's problem? How is that the landlord's situation? It is not. How is she living in a rent-subsidized apartment, a rent-stabilized apartment, that is, and receiving Section 8, and yet has the funds to pay for her daughter's student loans to assist in that bill, and to send money to the Dominican Republic for her father? How does she have the money for that, but yet not pay her rent? Her landlord filed in an eviction against her for owing close to $9,000 in back rent. This was filed somewhere around December 2021. She owes through December 2021. Now they're claiming in this argument, and they do it with basically everyone, due to language barriers and lack of technology or lack of technology knowledge, as barriers to going to ERAP and learning about ERAP and filling out the application. Well, we at the Landlord Advocates are calling bull on that argument. That is a bunch of bull. She's been here since 2009. Her adult daughter lives here and is paying student loan bills. So therefore, one would think that her daughter is attending or has attended college in the United States. And so therefore she knows English. Miss Holdover has been here since 2009. She should know some language. And the reason why we say that is that she went to the Bronx Works, which is the agency in charge of Iraq in the Bronx, where she lives. She went there the day after Iraq closed, November 15, 2021. Just so happens she went the day after when it closed. Now here's the other issue that they had, is that she did not realize she could go to Section 8 and ask for a reduction in her share of the rent. So she has language barriers, but she had 2 jobs that she lost. That's unfortunate. But she had 2 jobs. She was on Section 8. She went to Bronx Works. Her daughter went to college, but yet they have lack of technology experience and language barrier experience that prevented them from getting help from Iraq and not applying for that time frame that it was open from June 1st to November 15th. She now owes close to $9,000 in rent. The other petitioner, Anna Lyriado, who lives on Seagirt Avenue in Rockaway, New York, her monthly rent is about $1,300 a month. She lives there with her adult daughter. They're both disabled. They get about $1,400 a month in disability. They said that prior to March of 2020, Miss Lyriado worked part-time as a child caretaker to supplement her income. Well, she lost that job. Currently, from October of 2020 until now, she owes over $18,000 in rent. That's what she owed. She went in November of 2020 to the New York City Department of Social Services, where they paid $5,700 of her rent, and it was given her a subsidy of $807 a month. Now that's now over $2,200 that you're getting in income to that apartment, and yet your rent is $1,300 a month. Why therefore you're not paying the rent? You're getting $2,200, the rent's $1,300, why aren't you paying it? Why? Now, it claims that her daughter is living there as well. What money is the daughter working? Was the daughter working? Is she getting any money? Is she bringing in any money to pay any of that? We wonder. Like we mentioned with the previous one, with Ms. Holdover, does Section 8 even know that the daughter is living in that house? Because if they were, they would have adjusted the income, and they would have adjusted the payments that Ms. Holdover would have had to pay. The same here with Anna Lyriado. What about any money that's coming in? $807 is coming in from DSS. $1,400 is coming in from disability, and the rest not paid. As of now, June 2021, the landlord just went to court for owing $11,735 in back rent. Now here's the question of the day. They're claiming that she was unable to apply for ERAP due to her lack of technology, as well as her inability to apply was also due to her physical and mental disabilities. Now, we're not shaming anyone for having physical or mental disabilities. As you can tell, I have a speech impediment. It's obvious. It doesn't stop me from doing what I'm doing, but it does alter my speech to some degree. How is it that this woman was a part-time child caretaker when in the same page of this lawsuit, it claims that she has physical and mental disabilities? With that situation, how is she even a child caretaker? That begs the question in and of itself. Well, she filed a declaration of hardship, and now that case is going to be on for January 12, 2022. Her representatives are concerned at the Legal Aid Society that 3 days after that, she could be evicted for the non-payment of rent of over $11,000 in rent that is owed. Now we move on to the final two. We say the final two because they live together in the same apartment. They've been there since 1997. Long time, yes. They live on Kingsland Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. That's Amelia Camacho and Sergio De Jesus. Their monthly rent is $1,100, $1,102 to be exact. Both of them lost their jobs in the spring of 2020. Well, in September of 2020, their landlord commenced a non-payment eviction proceeding against them. Now listen to the numbers. September of 2020. They lost their job in the spring of 2020. 6 months later or so, the landlord filed a non-payment eviction case. The tenants owed $1,100 a month in rent, but the amount of the claim that the landlord is alleging that they owe is $18,000. $18,000 in back rent. Clearly, these tenants owed a lot of rent prior to them losing their job. Clearly, they owed a lot of money prior to that. Well, then, in August of 2021, the landlord filed a motion seeking $23,000 in back rent in a default judgment. These tenants never even went to court, therefore in default. When they don't go to court, it's in default. So he's seeking $23,000. Now, legal aid is claiming that they are monolingual Spanish speakers and that they did not apply for ERAC prior to the closure due to language barriers. The argument, and also again, due to unfamiliarity with technology. Again, like I said a few moments ago, the landlord advocate calls BS on those arguments. It's a bunch of crap. They've been here since 1997. You're going to tell me and fellow landlords in New York State and across America, for those who are watching, that these people had jobs, they lost their jobs, and they've been here since 1997 and they had language barriers for 23 years? They have not learned some language to assist them living here in America? That they don't have the ability to speak some level of English to guide them through to get the assistance that they may need? And their lack of technology? Come on, people. How many times do we see tenants and others across America with a cell phone planted in front of their face all the time, and they're texting, and they're calling, and they're playing games, and they're on Facebook, and they're on YouTube, and they're on all this other stuff with their cell phones, but yet, they don't know that technology to the point where they can get assistance to help themselves so they don't get evicted. And that is what they're trying to claim, that these individuals, these 4 parties in this lawsuit, the human parties, the individuals, are having language barriers, technology barriers, barriers here, barriers there. They can't apply, they have no money, they lost their job, they owe all this rent. But yet they have this other money coming in. Unemployment for over a year. But you're sending money to a foreign country to help your dad. You're helping your daughter pay her student loan bills, but yet you're not paying the rent. You're getting Section 8. And yet, you're asking for ERAC to pay your rent while you're spending money to pay your student loan, your daughter's student loan, and you're sending money into the Dominican Republic to help your father. Landlords, this is why I'm telling you, hit the like button, smash that baby, leave comments. Clearly, the Legal Aid Society chose these 4 people thinking that the woe is me and like, oh my God, these poor tenants, what are we going to do? They're going to be homeless, they're going to be out on the street, they're going to have no place to go. Well, what about us landlords? Haven't received money, some of us for 2 years. $17,000, $15,000, $50,000 in no rent. And yet these 4 people are claiming language barriers, lack of technology, education to use a damn cell phone to call for help. Yet the one goes to the Bronx, works for assistance the day after the program closes. How convenient is that? Landlords, this is nuts what we are having to go through. It really is. Share these 2 videos with your legislators. Let them know. We are not as stupid as you may think that we are. We are not as naive as you think that we are. We have had enough. The eviction moratorium cannot be renewed ERAP should be shut down. There's no more money. Stop this nonsense and allow us landlords to get our properties back from those that are not paying the rent because either they choose not to, or they don't want to, or they claim that they don't know how. Landlords, until then, take care.